Man, I'm so bummed. It is gorgeous out there today. Look at that stunning fall day here in the Rockies of Colorado. I'm sitting here in my former Airbnb, which has been, at least for now, deactivated. And I've gone into some videos about that. That's not what today's video is about, but I will say that today's video is quite possibly the single most important that I've ever filmed on this channel. I wanted to sit outside and have this conversation with you guys because I wanted to soften it a little with a beautiful view, but I'm filming from my phone today and it just keeps overheating. So we're gonna sit inside and you can stare at this beautiful mural of the Collegiate Peaks that I had commissioned from a fabricator here in town. This is made out of steel and carbon steel, and it's one of my favorite pieces in the house. So I do want to welcome you back to the channel, guys. This, like I said, is quite possibly one of the most important videos that I've ever recorded, just because of the frequency that I see this topic coming up. And what I want to do is dive into what I consider to be one of the biggest threats that you face if you're an active user of credit cards. Take it from me. I'm a guy that has literally spent nearly $200,000 on just these two credit cards in the last 9.5 months of the year. So I'm an active user of credit cards, you could say. And after a decade and a half now of coaching people to optimize their personal finances, I've got to really educate most of them on how they're being tricked by credit card companies, because this is just simply not taught in schools. It's never shown to us as we become adults and we enter the real world. So the biggest takeaway that I want you to get from today's video is going to be exactly why you should stop using your cards immediately and why it's crucial to pay off your credit card balances to zero every single month. Now let's go ahead and get started, and make sure you stick around all the way to the end, because I'm going to reveal what my current balances are on these two accounts right now today. And I also want to point out that I've literally not paid a single dollar in interest to my credit card companies, even using them to purchase hundreds of thousands of dollars a year worth of items, but in fact how I will actually be paid thousands of dollars just to have and use them. So we'll get into that by the end. Hang on tight. Now, first, what I want to do is help you understand how credit card companies make money. There's two ways. One way is that fees are charged to restaurants, retailers, anyone selling goods and services when you use your credit card to pay for something. The other is the interest and the fees that they're charging you and me and the consumers. Now, when you use a credit card to make a purchase or you pay for an item, the credit card company lends you the money. However, they're obviously going to charge an annual interest rate on any unpaid balances that you carry from one month to the next. Credit cards often have a variable annual percentage rate, and it'll change in accordance with a specific benchmark, typically the prime rate. Now, unfortunately, according to Forbes, the average interest rate as of the week of October 16th is a staggering 28.15%. Gives me a migraine saying it. Now, interest on credit cards is generally only going to be applied if you fail to pay your entire bill each and every month. In such cases, the credit card issuer will charge interest on the unpaid amount, and it'll be added then to your balance. If you carry a balance forward the next month, you're going to end up paying interest on both your original balance and the interest charges. And here's what most people don't seem to understand. Credit card interest is calculated daily, which means that if you went out to eat last night, or let's say you bought something online yesterday, and you used your credit card to pay for it, and it already has a balance that isn't paid off each month, you're gonna start being charged daily interest on those costs, as well as interest on your previous interest. So you're paying interest upon interest. Now, this compounding effect is how credit card balances can so quickly increase and become wildly difficult to manage. And so often I hear people justifying the use of their cards because they're applying at least what they spent each month in their payment, and they maybe even reduce the balance at the end of the month, but they didn't pay it in full. And they often do this because it's not that they don't have the money for the purchase, but it's normally because they see the credit cards are giving them rewards that range from 1% to 6% let's say cash back or travel benefits for each dollar that's spent. And they're not realizing they're being charged an average of 28.15% on those purchases. Look at it this way. If I were to offer you $1 to $6 for every $100 you spend, but all you had to do was give me $28 to get it, would anybody do that knowingly? And the answer is of course not. So why do so many people fall into this trap? Because most people simply don't realize how the system is designed to legally confuse and steal your money right from under your nose. And here's the flip side to this whole system. If you were able to pay off your credit card balances in full every month before it's due, you would never pay interest on your accounts again. When you pay your credit card balance off in full each month, you avoid paying any interest on your purchases. And this can save you a significant amount of money in the long run, allowing you to then use that money for other things, other very important things like savings or investing or paying off other debts. And additionally, paying off your credit card balances on time positively obviously will affect your credit score positively as well. Your credit scores reflect your credit worthiness, and it, of course, plays a crucial role in your financial future. And by maintaining a low utilization rate, which simply means using a very small portion of your available credit, and then you're consistently paying that balance in full every month, you're going to demonstrate to the credit reporting agencies and the scoring algorithms responsible credit management. And when you keep your credit card balances, even on low interest rate accounts, paid off, it's one of the most important things for your credit that you can do. Now, the bottom line is this: carrying a balance and especially making minimum payments only each month, that can lead to a death trap, and it normally will. This is because the interest charges are going to continue to accumulate and compound against you. It's going to make it harder to pay off those balances for you in the future, and over time, this can increase your overall debt burden and then hinder your progress financially. So here are 3 very easy first steps that you should start with and start now, today. Number 1 is you need to budget your money. According to a recent study by Mint.com, 65% of Americans actually don't know how much they even spent last month. So tracking your numbers, guys, is easier than ever, and it takes very little time. There are simply no excuses for that statistic to exist anymore, and Mint.com is actually a solid tool to track with. And we also provide a free tool. It's called the Cash Flow Cruncher, and that can help you calculate some of the most important numbers that you're going to need to build a roadmap with. So I'll put a link to that in the description for you below. It's completely free. And by the way, if you love the free stuff that we give away here on the channel, please drop a thumbs up. It helps us a lot. These videos take a long time, and these resources take a lot to provide. Now, number 2 is if you don't have a consistent track record of paying your credit card balances to zero every month, let me be very, very clear with you right now. You are simply not somebody who should be using a credit card at all. But more importantly, there is absolutely no reason whatsoever, except for a dire emergency, that you should put another dollar on that credit card alone. Not one expense. Stop spending and build a payoff plan now. Every new expense should be paid with a debit card only, with money from your checking account. Your money, not money you borrow. New expenses are costing you interest from the very moment that they're added to that transaction summary, which leads me to the 3rd step here. And that's that it is imperative that you build and consistently follow a strategic plan to organize and pay off your credit card balances before anything else. Credit cards almost always carry the highest interest costs, and they also impact your credit scores the most. And while Dave Ramsey recommends the snowball approach, I generally recommend paying the highest interest rate cards first, using every dollar of leftover disposable income, and this is known as cash flow, until it's eliminated, and then you attack the second highest interest account next, and so on. And this approach is commonly referred to as the avalanche method. And before taking this step, determine how strong your current credit and borrowing strength is, as well as your approval rating for a low to 0% introductory credit card that you can use to transfer your highest interest rate balances to. And doing so can significantly reduce the costs of your debts during the promotional period, even if the new card has a 3 to 5% balance transfer fee, which is normal. If you apply for a new 0% credit card for 12 months that costs 5% balance transfer fee, you would spend $500 on a $10,000 balance. But you would save $2,815 in interest costs over the course of that 12-month period of time by transferring away from a 28.15% credit card. So that's a $2,300 savings for you over the year. Furthermore, the minimum payment will be much lower on the 0% account, allowing you to use the extra money to rapidly attack other debts in the meantime. Now, this does introduce another very important threat that the credit card companies most definitely don't want you to know. And that's if you secure a 0% account to transfer high balances to and do not pay it off prior to the promotional period expiring, the card's normal ongoing APR will go into effect. And this interest rate will apply to all new purchases and potentially balance transfers that you don't pay off in full every month, as well as any unpaid balances from the introductory period. And it will obviously be at a predatory level interest rate. So you've got to put a plan in place to make sure that's paid. Debts and money are confusing, folks, and there is an art to this. So if you feel you would benefit from an expert looking over your finances and offering some direction, I do still provide one free coaching session with me personally. You'll get me on the Zoom call and we'll go into some strategies that might help you personally reach your goals faster. It would be tailored to your specific circumstances. And there's no catch to this at all. It's not a sales call, but you do have to go online to schedule it because I have a very busy schedule and there is a waiting list to get on my calendar. So I'll put that link in the description for you below as well. Again, drop a like if you like the free stuff, folks. So I promised that we would take a look at how well I'm handling such an extreme amount of credit card use. After all, I mean, who would want to take financial advice from somebody who isn't practicing what they teach? And remember, when I showed you the two accounts that I've been using that total over $20,000 a month in spending so far this year, well, the account with over $152,000 in spending as of this morning had a balance of $183.37, which was paid off the moment I woke up. You can see that payment transaction in the screenshot. And the card with the $41,800 worth of transactions so far this year has a current balance of $0 as well. Be sure to check the description for a video explaining why I pay my balances to zero every day instead of every month. I think there's some key points and benefits to that you'll want to learn. And here's the best part about this, guys, is there are currently over 316,000 points that are stacked up so far this year, totaling $3,164 in cash back that my bank will pay me when I cash it out for a video in December. And they haven't made one penny on me in fees or in interest. I think it's safe to say that I am not their ideal client, but they help me a lot. And this, my friend, is how to properly use credit cards to your advantage. I do want to point out a side note here because I can see some of the comments already from people wondering how anyone could possibly average over $20,000 in spending each month on credit cards. And it's a direct result of running multiple businesses, and they have a lot of costs. In fact, I didn't even bother to include my personal credit cards on this video, but I do manage them the exact same way, and I pay them off in full every single day as well. I think the total reported in my credit report was 200 and change this month. So while these numbers are definitely well above average as a result of my business expenses, the same principles apply at every single level, whether it's big or small, personally or professionally. You need to exercise this approach with extreme diligence. And unfortunately, it is not hard to find so-called gurus or experts that are discussing a variety of hacking strategies, I guess we'll call it, where using credit cards as a source of capital to take advantage of various investing and business strategies might help you build wealth. However, it is my undying opinion, my firm opinion, rule, that those people are not your friends, and those strategies can destroy your financial future. If you cannot finance your wealth building ideas using tools other than credit cards, then you're simply not yet in a financial position to pursue those ideas yet. Plain and simple. So that's it for today's video on credit card interest and the importance of properly managing your use of credit cards, specifically paying off balances to zero every month. I do hope that you found this information helpful, as I see most people just simply are unaware that new transactions are costing them interest every month immediately. Remember, being a responsible credit card user can significantly help impact your financial future, your financial well-being, your ability to build wealth. So again, be sure to drop a like on this video if you found the information helpful. It certainly helps us a lot. And we'll see you on the next video. Until then, make it a great day and keep on cash flow. Take care.